My name is Carrie Johnson, and I have a bachelor's in architectural engineering and a master's in architectural engineering from OSU. The bachelor's I got in 1987 and the master's in 1988. Well, I grew up in Hobart, Oklahoma, which is a small town in the southwest part of the state. I always feel like I have to say exactly where Hobart is because it's small. And I graduated with like 81 people in 1981. So it was I always remember how many people I graduated with because of that. So growing up in a small town, I never met any engineers, but my dad was in the lumber business, and I feel like was drawn to construction related things. But the real reason is I guess you should never minimize the interactions that you have with somebody, because just a salesman that was in my dad's store asked me what I was going to do. And I told him, kind of what I was interested in. And he said, you should be an architect, because, I was interested in art and in science. And I started out in architecture school and then switched to architectural engineering. Architecture is more subjective, and I liked, being able to solve problems and knowing that I kind of found the right answer. And I've, since learned that in engineering, there's also multiple answers that you can find, but I think it was more like a problem-solving thing, that I wanted to be able to solve problems. Most of my memories are really long nights in the architecture building, because as an architectural engineer, you had to take a lot of architecture design classes. And so then a lot of the people that I met and still am in touch with were the people I spent those long nights at the architecture building with. So, it's good for lots of reasons. But besides that, I love going to OSU sports, and I'm particularly a really big, huge OSU wrestling fan. And I used to love to go to OSU wrestling when I was on campus, and since then I've continued to come back to Stillwater for the matches, and I've gone to the NCAA wrestling tournament multiple times, even traveled long distances to go. Throughout my career, I've worked at Wallace Engineering, the only place I've ever worked. Work as a structural engineer. In our office, we also have civil engineering and more recently landscape architecture, but I've always worked in the structural side of things. And the one thing that I love about working at Wallace Engineering is that there are a lot of people that I went to school with. So I've known them throughout when I went to school, and are still friends with them and work with them, and that's really great. For the most part, I have worked on retail projects. So we do retail projects throughout the United States, and it's amazing to do that we get to see, have to design for earthquakes in high wind areas and with really truly horrible soils in different places. So you really get to know kind of all of the different aspects of structural engineering and how you need to design a building to do that. And it also allows me to be able to travel sometimes whenever I want, and I like to travel, not all the time, but I like to travel, and so that's fun. And then as I've progressed throughout my career, I became an owner of Wallace Engineering. The advice I would give students is to be passionate about what you want to do. If you're not really excited about it, I know sometimes people feel like I'm just going to go ahead and finish this degree, even though I've decided that I'm not that happy with this area of it. Seek out different areas within your career that are things that you are passionate about. There's always different ways. It doesn't mean you have to change a job to go find something else to do. That within every company, there's different people doing different things, and find ways, just find things that you absolutely are most interested in, because that's what makes it fun to go to work every day. I would say what OSU means to me is family. I feel like just every time I come back to Stillwater, I feel like I'm home. Yeah, I feel like it's home, and I feel like all of my friends that also went to OSU are my extended family. So I think that's what I feel most about OSU.